This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the channel, and I trust everyone is having a wonderful morning so far. Today is November 23, 2022. And in the news this morning, 101 guns surrendered under amnesty. A total of 101 firearms and 3,000 rounds of ammunition were handed over to the police under the recently concluded gun amnesty declared by the government. Debating regulations in Parliament to extend the state of emergency to January 14 next year, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that the number of guns given over to law enforcement authorities exceeded his expectations. However, the Prime Minister said that there are thousands of illegal firearms and ammunition still in the hands of criminals. He told his parliamentary colleagues that the security forces recovered 22 illegal firearms during the amnesty. He said it was unfortunate that a 15-year-old was among those caught in possession of an illegal weapon. Noting that many young Jamaicans have been sucked into a gun culture, Holness said, "I am sorry for him, and I wish that he did not have to face this fate, but we have to put our feet down firmly." Ministry representative meets with disgruntled Seaford High teachers. A representative of the Ministry of Education on Tuesday met with teachers at Seaford High School in St. Thomas to address concerns which led to classes being suspended for 2 straight days. Teachers are protesting the non-remittance of deductions from their salaries. They staged a sit-in at the institution Monday and Tuesday. Jamaica Teachers Association contacted teacher at Seaford High, Kinder May Pennant Miller, who told the news that the educators are dissatisfied with the outcome of Tuesday's meeting. But she said in the interest of students, classes will resume Wednesday, pending the outcome of a follow-up meeting on Friday.
In concern for students, we have decided to resume teaching tomorrow. However, if between tomorrow and Friday we do not get a satisfactory response from the Ministry of Education, we will continue our action thereafter. We really need to have our situation resolved. Myriad of issues, none of them being properly addressed by the powers that be.
Alicia Morgan Lewis, a senior teacher at Seaford High, said they are fed up with the lack of attention by the authorities to their concerns.
Every month we are in receipt of pay slips that indicate that our deductions have been made to respective institutions. However, periodically we get emails and messages reminding us that payments have not been made. This has resulted in our incurring debts in the amounts of thousands and millions of dollars. Collectively, we have made representation. We have done what we can do from our stance as collective teachers at this institution, and we have failed to get the kind of redress that we think is befitting of hard-working teachers. When a colleague as a family member who dies and upon trying to make a claim for insurance to cover funeral expenses, it is then that they are learning that the insurance has lapsed. We think that is unacceptable.
Mentally ill man stabbed to death in St. Elizabeth. Investigators are trying to determine the motive for the murder of a man said to be mentally ill in Brighton, St. Elizabeth on Tuesday morning. About 3 o'clock, the Newmarket police received a call that the body of a man was seen lying on a property in Brighton district. On their arrival, the body of 47-year-old farmer Dennis Williams was found with multiple stab wounds. Paternity leave to come into effect January 1. The proposed introduction of paternity leave for fathers of newborns and a family leave for adoptive parents bringing a new child into the home is slated to come into effect on January 1, 2023. This was stated by Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, Marcia Smith, who also advised that the proposed increase of paid maternity leave from 40 days to 3 months will commence on January 1. She was speaking at the Civil Service Week Public Forum at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on November 22. The forum was held under the theme, "The Public Sector Forging Ahead with Determination." The The changes are coming out of the current public sector compensation review and will be facilitated by updating the public sector staff orders of 2004. The compensation review is intended to overhaul the structure of salaries and other emoluments in the public service. This is an opportunity for other Jamaicans who have the capacity and the ability to take on fostering to foster a child. If you are a public servant, you are going to be given that opportunity to get those weeks to settle that child in before you go back to work fully. This is why we are trying to modernize the public sector in real ways to meet the ways of the public servant, not just in terms of compensation, but also in overall quality of life, she said. Smith said the aim is to ensure that public servants are compensated in ways that are competitive with the local private as well as the international markets. These changes will ensure that we are able to retain the talent locally, which will ensure an efficient, simplified public sector, she said. Meanwhile, she indicated that the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has reached an agreement with several trade unions representing public sector workers on the restructured public sector compensation system. I was very happy last week when the Ministry of Finance, together with its union partners, were able to sign several memoranda of understanding, and these cover approximately 60,000 employees, and we are well underway to seeing the entire public sector being transformed, as Smith noted. The Ministry of Finance is committed to ensuring that we implement a public sector compensation that is fair, transparent, and sustainable. He is determined to ensure that each and every public sector worker is better off financially. To all public sector workers, I say be patient. There is always some shifting around when there is transformation, but in the end, everything eventually settles down, she said. Smith applauded all the unions that have passionately represented their members through the process, and I acknowledge the trust they have shown in the government by signing this agreement. For those who have not yet signed, I encourage you to do so. I am confident that this is a step in the right direction as we continue to change the various aspects of public sector transformation, she said. Schools requires the increase in school feeding allocation through PATH. School administrators and nutritionists are calling for the government to not only increase its allocation to schools for feeding PATH students, but to also expand the program to provide meals for needy students not on PATH. Principals say they are forced to find creative ways to respond to the inadequacy of funds provided under PATH, a situation which they say has been worsened by inflation and the rising cost of food. Principal of Black River High School, Christopher Romans, has revealed that 670 of the 1,570 students are on PATH. He says although only 70% of PATH students at his school take advantage of the free lunch, the $150 provided by the ministry for each student per day is insufficient, with the average lunch costing $450. As a result, he has to prioritize distributing lunch to students preparing to sit exams. He also explained that teachers have had to be using their own funds to ensure students are getting nutritious meals. Faced with similar challenges, Roger Curlew, principal of Spanish Town Primary in St. Catherine, is calling for a 100% increase in the funds allocated for PATH lunches. He reports that of the 1,408 students at his school, 450 depend on PATH. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Maureen Dwyer, told the news that the ministry will review the program and the allocation of funds. Transport operators await word on possible payment plan for traffic tickets. Taxi and bus groupings are awaiting word on their calls for a plan to clear the millions of dollars in outstanding tickets owed by operators of public passenger vehicles. Thousands of operators across Jamaica withdrew their services for 2 days last week, calling for an amnesty. The government has said there will be no amnesty for settling the outstanding amounts, but it is open to a possible payment plan. The Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services said a proposed payment plan and other initiatives to improve the sector were submitted to the Ministry of Transport for consideration. Minister of Transport Audley Shaw was expected to take the matter to Cabinet for discussion and a decision on the way forward. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.